bit. But first, this year, again, we are craving traditions more than ever. We're craving hugs, especially during the holiday season. And it leaves parents with the challenge of trying to explain to their kiddos why this Christmas looks so much different than all of the ones in the past. Psychologist Dr. Roseann is here to help us find the right words for any age group when it comes to explaining it to our kiddos. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me on and supporting children and family mental health.
Well, this is a holiday season like we've never experienced before, Dr. Roseann. So how can we go about explaining the changes to our kids?
Yeah, I mean, this is a time that's traditionally filled with a lot of exciting things, and it's going to look very different. And so there can be a lot of disappointment for both kids and families. And so we want to start with, talking to our kids with developmentally appropriate language. And what does that mean? It means, meeting kids where they're at and talking to them in a way that they can hear us. So for younger kids, we're not going to use a lot of words. We might even start with joining with an activity with them and then kind of opening up that dialogue about what they might know or how they feel. And with a teenager, we might start with how they're going to hear us. Like, isn't this a bummer that we don't get to go on our normal ski vacation this year where all our cousins meet us? And I'm really missing it. What about you? And that really can open up a lot of dialogue.
And you also say it's important to, figure out a way to just establish new traditions, make up some new things that they can be excited and look forward to.
Yeah, I mean, validating feelings are really important to help kids to understand, things are going to be different. But we also want to empower our children. We want to give our kids something to look forward to. And I am a big proponent of family traditions, and we all have them. We need to make them be different. We need to modify them, and including your kids, no matter what age they are, in thinking about, hey, listen, we normally make cookies with all of the grandparents, and we distribute them to everybody in the neighborhood. Like, how could we make that different? Mm-hmm. And let them think of some traditions. Maybe it's a modification, maybe it's a new tradition, but it can be such a healing process for them to understand in life, things happen, mm-hmm. and we need to, think about ways to, we've been talking about pivot, but really to teach them that when life gives you a bump or a hurdle, you need to think, you need to problem solve, and you need to cope. And this can be an exciting time. Again, it's just going to look different.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? It's good they're learning this at a young age. A lot of people don't learn it until they're well into adulthood. So it could actually
Absolutely, Kimberly.
a lot later on. So we have about a minute, but I wanted to ask you about one thing in particular. There's a lot of families who, different family members feel differently about this situation. So maybe an aunt and uncle are fine with having everyone over. Maybe a cousin feels completely uncomfortable in that situation. How do you navigate that area if everyone's kind of on the fence when it comes to what we're all going through?
Kimberly, this is about establishing boundaries. So, as, we're in charge, we're the CEO of our own family and our own house, and that's your immediate family. And right now, everyone has different viewpoints. You need to do what you are comfortable with. And I think people are getting a lot of pressure from other family members who have different comfort levels. Sometimes feeling like, hey, we don't need masks, and sometimes feeling like we shouldn't go anywhere. You have to do what you feel good about, and that means being really explicit with people. So we can't just show up at a family function and then say, I thought we were all wearing masks. And that's going to turn into a lot of hurt, could mean to volatility. So establishing boundaries is all about clear language before going to an event, and it's got to do what you feel comfortable. It's not pleasing other people. This will be disappointing for some of your family members if you're not coming, but you also now need to think about establishing new ways of traditions, and it's just a lot better to set that up in advance so that no feelings are hurt.
Plan ahead. That is the key right there.
Plan ahead.
Dr. Roseann, thank you for your time today. It was so nice chatting with you, and we will post all of your tips on our website, watchdaytime.com.